There are some people that were talking about reparations in this country. They wanted reparations. And I remember I made this particular liberal so angry at me because I told them right to their face, nobody owes you anything for slavery. If you want to tell the truth about it, it is you who owes. It's you who owes. Why do you owe? Because somebody in those fields took stripes for you. Somebody, after those fields were ended and slavery was ended, somebody had to walk through Jim Crow for you. Somebody fought wars and died for you. Somebody lived less than because they didn't have what you have, and they did it for you. There are people in their graves right now, and they are there because they were willing to stand up and fight for you. Those folks on the Edmund Pettus Bridge carrying American flags, take that, Colin Kaepernick, living in a society that he could scarcely acknowledge, something that he has never known, living with a bigotry that none of us can imagine. Carried American flags on that bridge, and when they were hit upside the head with nightsticks and shot with water hoses and knocked to the ground, they got up and picked those flags up and kept marching. And they did it for you. Nobody owes you anything. If anybody owes, it's you, because you've been the benefactor of freedom.
They don't teach you your history, because if you knew what your people achieved before slavery, before colonialism, you would never again accept being treated as inferior.
What's something you'll get a lot of hate for if you say it out loud?
I don't feel like black people need reparations. Yeah, I said it. Hear me out. Even if you don't want to hear me out, you gonna listen. What do they owe us? And what for? Oh, slavery? No, because if you want to say that, half the people that were out in the field, you owe them. They're the ones that took the lashing. They're the ones that took the beating. Matter of fact, you owe your great-grandparents for marching for you, for fighting for you. Because right now you're reaping the benefits. You're reaping the reparations. Being able to be black in America and live freely sounds damn good to me. And if you're dead ass serious trying to seek out some reparations, go on to Africa, find your ancestry, challenge him to a boxing match because he owes you something. They're the ones that sold you. Be mad at them.
Black Americans do not deserve reparations. That's actually false. We're the only group in America that has not been repaid after centuries of legal theft. Enslaved people built this economy basically for free. Well, actually, yeah, for free. After slavery, new laws was built to keep stealing. Black families were denied land. They were redlined out of housing. They were shut out of the GI Bill and loans that actually helped white families build wealth. And let's not say it's impossible, because America has paid reparations to the Japanese Americans and also the Native Americans. Yeah, we can argue whether it was enough or not, but that's besides the point. The point is, America knows how to pay. It's just who they choose to pay. So the question isn't whether can we afford reparations. The question is, why does America keep stalling to pay the debt that is owed to descendants of slavery? Why is that? Can y'all let me know?
We played Monopoly the other night, and I didn't take any money. I wanted to take the place of the slaves that were emancipated in 1865, who did not get the 40 acres or the mule. And so I took nothing. Now, I survived for a few times around the board, but I couldn't buy nothing, and it was very soon I was out of the game. Now, you would say that that is unfair to have somebody sit down at a table and play Monopoly and not give them the $1,500 to start with. But that's what this country did with our people when they emancipated us. And then have the audacity, the unmitigated gall to wonder why we don't do better.
Should black people get reparations?
I believe they should.
So I, white man, have to play for black people. Why?
Wow, that's a really selfish thing you just said.
Hold on. Why should I have...
That's a really non-empathetic thing to say.
Why should I have empathy for a race? I have white guilt because I breathe? Why should the white students here have to work harder to pay for black kids? What is that all about?
Not every black person has lineage connected to slaves,
That's
and
true.
every white person doesn't have lineage connected to slaves.
Yes, that's right. So since every black person doesn't have a lineage connected to slaves, why should we generalize and say reparations for black people?
Because there are people that are in a worse place.
So over 150 years, they didn't have any ability to make better decisions, to save money, and to invest. How about you take responsibility for your own actions?
This man educated an entire panel of activists on reparations and left everybody speechless.
Not everybody suffered equally. There were about 3,700 free blacks who owned 12,000 slaves, black slaves. The question is, the descendants of those free blacks who owned black slaves, do they pay? Blacks really benefited more the first 100 years after slavery than we have in the last 50 years. I was born in 1937 during the Depression. 98% of the households had a man and a woman raising children. Elderly people could walk safely in that community without fear of being assaulted by their grandchildren. Never heard a gunfire during that time. Talking about remedies, we've got to look beyond saying that every solution has to have a winner and a loser, that blacks can only benefit if whites lose. We have to be defined more than just victims of oppression.
So family, there's a conversation that keeps coming up over and over again, and every single time it does, it divides people instantly. Reparations for black Americans. Some people say it's long overdue, others say it's unrealistic, and then there are those who go even further and say black Americans don't deserve reparations at all. But here's the thing, family. Most people arguing about this are not even having the same conversation. And they're reacting emotionally, historically, politically, but very rarely are they actually breaking down what this really means. Now, as an African looking at America from the outside, family, this debate is very interesting because on one hand, you are looking at a country built on systems that historically excluded black people from wealth, land, ownership, education, and even opportunity. Slavery wasn't just about labor, family. It was economic theft on a massive scale. And even after slavery ended, systems like segregation, redlining, and even discrimination didn't just disappear. They evolved. So when people talk about reparations, they're not just talking about slavery. They're talking about generations of lost wealth and opportunity. But then comes the other side of the argument, family. And this is where things get even more uncomfortable. Some people say, why should people today pay for what happened in the past? Others argue that not all black Americans were directly affected in the same way, and that modern America offers opportunity that didn't even exist before. And then there is an even more controversial layer. People comparing immigrants, including Africans, who came into America and managed to succeed without reparations. And so the question becomes, is this about historical justice, or is it about present-day equality? And this is where the conversation needs to slow down, family, because it's not as simple as people may make it seem. Success stories don't erase systemic patterns. At the same time, systemic challenges don't mean individuals don't have agency. Both things can exist at the same time. But online, people don't want nuance. They want quick answers. They want sides. They want conflict. And from an African perspective, family, there's also a layer of distance. Many Africans didn't just grow up inside that system. So they view America as the land of opportunity first and then history second. And that shapes how they interpret this conversation. But for black Americans, history is not something distant. It's something that has shaped communities, neighborhoods, wealth gaps, and even mindset across generations. And so when someone says black Americans don't deserve reparations, what they're really saying is that, are they rejecting the idea of historical accountability? Or are they questioning how it should be applied today? Because Those are two very different arguments, but they often get mixed together. And maybe the real issue is not just whether reparations should exist, but what they should look like. Is it direct payments? Is it investment in communities? Is it education? Is it housing, or even economic opportunities? Because if the conversation stays at deserve versus don't deserve, it never actually moves forward. And what's clear is this, family: this topic isn't going away. It keeps coming back, because if it touches on something deeper than money, it's about recognition, it's about fairness, and how a country chooses to deal with its past. And until those questions are answered honestly, this debate will continue to divide people, to frustrate people, and even spark exactly the kind of reactions we keep seeing online. But maybe the better question is not who deserves what. Maybe the real question is, what does justice actually look like today?